So I think we welcome all of you all this evening. Like today, I think most of you all would be interested in getting to know what is this Erasmus Plus funding. And also I would like to make a small request from you all, if you all in a position to on your video. So at the beginning, if you all can we can see who you all, and also it would be looking great, like we can speak to people, looking at people rather than just seeing some blank screens. So, okay, thank you very much. So, like, if you are in a position to on the video, I think we appreciate your this thing if you can on it. So today we are basically uh, getting together to talk about what is this Erasmus Plus program, and like this is we are having it as a pre-event for the 16, 17, 18. We are planned to have the event, but many requested more details about it. What is this program? What is this related to me? Can I apply for this? Can I get can my organization be benefited? Or all those questions. So today is an overview session. I think Alexandra is uh, ready to share with you all on what it is all about and how you can benefit it. I think as a country in Sri Lanka, like we are going through a tough time. Some may not even have the electricity. So that's why we are having this session also recorded, and we will be sharing it with you all once the session is over. So like in case you all miss the session or whatever it is, like we'll don't worry, like we'll make sure that the recording is being shared with you as well. Hope like at the registration point you gave your details, so we can continue communicate with you on that. So basically, like as you know, like country, we are going through a tough time, and especially for in currency, and like we have many projects. We thought of initiating this project. Mostly, it's not a uh, like ICH is a private organization. It's a business organization, but like this project, we thought of like going as a non-profit basis. So we are trying to connect the EU Erasmus program to Sri Lankans, where many don't know about it, and show them how you all can benefit it and like work together. So as a country, we can do whatever our part which we can do it rather than waiting for the government or others to do it. And basically it's a multi-stakeholder initiative. We wanted to work with you all, so maybe we can work with you all in the future for other projects or whatever the support you need. So rather than me talking, I think you all would be wanting to get to know from the person itself. But before going to that, I'll introduce Dr. Dilantha Vithanagate. Like he's with us. He's the key person who initiated this project with Alexander. And like most of you all might be knowing about Dr. Dilantha, like he's uh, a university lecturer as well as who was in the education ministry. And one most important thing which he did it in his life is, I think that is what we need to appreciate it a lot. That is introducing the ICT syllabus to the Sri Lankan education, like the school system. So he is the main person behind where like now students are learning GIT in their school. During our time we didn't have it, but like he is the person who introduced it. And like so rather than going further, I'm talking like I'll invite Dr. Dilantha to uh, give a small introduction, and then we'll go to the program details.
Thank you, uh, Karim. Karim is one of my colleague who supports me to organize this event, and Karim heads a private business organization called InnoTrend, mostly working in the field of digital marketing. Actually, I can remember that when I was in the university, I was teaching at University of Sri Jawadanapura and then Colombo. I used to hear this word Erasmus, and we heard this when some of the colleagues got some support from this program to get their masters and PhDs done. Then, of course, I had to leave the university system for unfortunate reasons. So then I was working in a number of different places. in 2021, one of Sri Lankan's very close friend of mine, Shan, who closely worked with Russia, the former Soviet Union, introduced me to one very interesting academic, Dimitri, who heads Education Export Center in Moscow. So during that period, I had the opportunity to meet Alexander from National Agency who works on Erasmus Plus program. So then we had one Zoom session, I believe that late 2021. Then we had a plan to have a 3-day workshop, physical workshop in Colombo last year, February. As you know, due to COVID and other political issues in Sri Lanka, we couldn't do that. Then again, Shan intervened and he got Alexander back in the scene. And as a result of that, we had a lot of discussions. And actually, we felt very seriously that Sri Lanka going through a very bad period, economically crisis situation. And if we can get some of the facilities from Erasmus program, that would be a good opportunity for all of us. So therefore, I, with Abdul Karim from Inotrend, Hemakumar Gunasekar from ICC Sri Lanka, Dr. Premasiri Gamage from Business Development Center, we as a team decided to work on this. Actually speaking, that our prime objective is to get some of the facilities available internationally so that Sri Lankans would benefit, but at the same time, this funding coming from European citizens, their taxpayers' money. So I think they also should get benefited definitely from this practice. So I would like to just thank Honorary Consul of Lithuania in Sri Lanka, allowing us to use his office for our operation, and Supreme TV for providing media support, and the Leader website and other media supporters. And at the same time, we would like to thank very much Alexander. He spent a lot of time and effort. Maybe weekly we meet virtually, and maybe we all will be able to meet soon on 16th, 16th to 18th in Sri Lanka. I would like to, without wasting more time, because we came here to listen to Alexander. Of course, I can remember that Erasmus was a program for us only focusing on higher education sector. But after 30 years of Erasmus life, I think they introduce its new stage of this program, Erasmus Plus, where they would include so many other areas also. And they open up for other organizations other than higher education establishments. So I think we have to thank Alexander and their office for supporting this program. We would like to invite Alexander to conduct this program. And basically, we got a lot of applications, something like almost 300 applications to join this program. But for some obvious reasons, we will not be able to accommodate all. So we want to get some screening process done so that we get the most suitable people for this workshop. I believe after Alexander's explanation, some people will understand that this may not be their purpose. So anyway, thank you, Alexander, for sharing your valuable time with us. So it's open to you.
Thank you, Dilante. Good evening, good afternoon to everyone. It's a really pleasure for me today to have this opportunity to share my experience and my point of view, and also opportunities for the Erasmus Plus program. Thank you also, Dilante, for your efforts and for your achievements, I would say, in this area of the Erasmus Plus, and also in the area of internationalization of Sri Lanka in general, and close collaboration with Europe. for a reason that I would start with this point. The South Mediterranean countries, also the North countries from Africa, like Tunis, Algeria, and other countries, Jordan, and also other countries from Asia, like Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, and other countries, they have already established and created Erasmus Plus offices. In general, this Erasmus Plus program is not for higher education only, and it's not only for Europe. It's worldwide, and yes, it's created by the European Commission and by their bodies like General Directorate for Education, Culture, Audiovisual Policies, and Sport, also from the Executive Agency in Brussels. But in general, this program is for all the countries in the world. And the reason why we are going to create these training events in Sri Lanka have two purposes. The first one is for a reason that our national agency has already approved this annual work program, which is included also countries Sri Lanka for international credit mobility. And the second one is close collaboration between concretely Sri Lanka and European countries through the Erasmus Plus program. I have prepared presentation with examples, practical examples, and simplified examples how collaboration between Sri Lankan institutions, I'm not going to say higher education institutions, but in general, NGOs, public, private bodies, each one is eligible more or less in each field of the Erasmus Plus program as an applicant or as a partner. And we are going to see in today's presentation what kind of possibilities are there in the Erasmus Plus program. I'm working more than 14 years in this area. My specific area is higher education and internationalization in higher education through the Erasmus Plus. Before it was lifelong learning program and youth in action program. But now I'm working in the area of youth, in the area of adult education, vocational educational training, and also school education. I'm going to share my screen, and also please, if you have some questions which are related with the Erasmus Plus program, feel free to set the questions, to write them in the message, or to just raise a hand and set some questions if you want some additional clarification regarding presentation. Jolanta and others, can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can see that.
Great. I would like just to fit in a full screen. Like this is better. Can you see it in the full screen?
Yes, it's
Screen
clear.
now. It's full screen.
Great. Yes, full screen. So basically, as you can see, this is the program with for the period 21 and 27. But bearing in mind that this program of Erasmus Plus, in different names, it's more than 30 years in Europe. So after 2027, there is going to be a continuation of the program for the 7 years period again, and it's going to be 2027, 2034. This is the Euro program for education, training, youth, and sport. But basically, you can see in the next slide, 43% of the total budget is allocated for higher education. So what's the Erasmus Plus program? This is the program to support education, training, youth, and sport. There are funding programs, projects, and also scholarships. There is a fosters, firstly, with the EU, but also an EU international cooperation. The second one is related with cooperation between European countries, not only the European Union countries. We need to be clear about this. For a reason that European Union, it's created, and now the number of countries in the European Union is 27, but full participants in the Erasmus Plus program are 33 countries from Europe. The next one is related with the Erasmus Plus program about the accent of higher education and the total budget. For the previous program, which was Erasmus Plus with different names like Lifelong Learning Program and Youth in Action, the total budget which was available for the 2014, 2020, 2021 period, it was 14.7 billion euros. for reason that this is the most prominent and the most successful program of Europe in area of education, training, youth and sport, at least more or less they have doubled the budget for the period 21-27. And it is 26.2 billion euros for every program. We are going to go in details in a couple of minutes with the budgets and separation of the budgets per actions. Basic priorities, you need to be aware for the program, if you want to be enrolled in the program, about the specific priorities and the basic priorities. You need to be aware about the specific priorities like green agenda, inclusion, internationalization, employability. These are the main priorities of the Erasmus Plus program, which you need to be aware about inclusiveness of these priorities in your application form. So there are also national priorities and centralized and decentralized actions. I would like to put an emphasis and aim of centralized and decentralized actions. What is the meaning of this centralized and decentralized actions of the Erasmus Plus? It means that for the centralized actions, you are going to see further in the presentation, you can be more or less in the 90% of the centralized actions applicant. So if you are a higher education institution, if you are some school, primary or secondary school, or if you are coming from some NGO, some company, you can apply directly in Brussels for centralized actions. But bearing in mind that you need to involve partners from Europe and also from other countries of the world. There are different kind of areas which consider, for example, 2 partners from Europe and 2 partners from outside of borders of Europe. This is the simplified way which I can explain. And for decentralized actions, you can be partner. Just one example, we will go in details further. There is a cooperation partnerships. So if some higher education institution is applying for creation of master studies, this is just one example, they can involve your higher education institution together with our other institutions as one to apply in Brussels or in the national agencies. This is for decentralized actions, is in the national agencies, and they're going to apply in the national agency, taking in consideration that if the budget is, most simplified way, 500,000 euros, then each partner has separate budget from these 500,000 euros for creating of these master studies and different kind of activities which needs to be involved in the project proposals. So you're eligible as a country, as institutions, as a higher education institutions, private, public bodies, NGOs in centralized and decentralized level as well. This is the financial support. Just an example, for cooperation partnerships, there are projects which can be granted up to 400,000 euros. For small skills partnerships, these are projects with a top-up amount of 60,000 euros. For capacity building, so cooperation partnerships and small skills partnerships, I would like to make one distinction between these sub-programs and actions. So cooperation partnerships and small skills partnerships are on decentralized level in the national agencies, in the 33 national agencies in Europe. Capacity building in higher education, but also you have possibilities for capacity building in vet, in school, and also in sports. There is a top-up amount. There's now not budget which is available with the amount of 800,000 euros. There is a top-up amount for each application up to 800,000 euros. For the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, that is the top-up amount of 1.5 million euros. For the European Universities Initiative, this is the largest budget which I have faced in my history of working, 14 years of working in the Erasmus Plus program. So taking in consideration that for the call, which have passed now, 31st of January, but I'm quite sure that they are going to have another call during this year, and for sure next year another call. Basically, for the call 31st of January for European Universities Initiative, they have only for one call, which is in Brussels in the executive agency published. This call was published in the Brussels in the executive agency. The total budget for this call, it was 384 million euros for this call, only for this call. For international credit mobility, this is very interesting action. The budgets can be up to 400,000 euros, but I would suggest first, if you are coming from some higher education institution, to conduct interinstitutional or bilateral agreements with European universities in line with international credit mobility, and in this manner you can send and also you can receive staff and students from the European universities, and you have different kind of costs. For staff, for professors, you have two types of costs: individual support, which is on daily basis, it's between 140 and 180 euros per day for creation and conducting of staff teaching assignment. And for students, it's between 800 euros and 900 euros per month. But also taking in consideration that for staff, you have additional costs for travel, which are between 360 euros and 1,000 euros. This is also related international credit mobility with individual mobilities in higher education, which grants are up to 1 million euros, and virtual exchanges. This is also new action, and I would suggest for institutions from Sri Lanka also to put an emphasis and aim of virtual exchanges, for reason that it's much easier to create in this manner virtual exchanges between Sri Lankan institutions and other institutions from Europe, and also in this manner to create some kind of new ideas and new innovative approaches regarding curricula at higher education institutions in line with the priorities of the Erasmus Plus program. This is for international dimensions we have mentioned before. As you can see, these are the countries that are involved, like partner countries with the red and the program countries with the black color. In general, every country in the world is already covered with the program. I would say that this is a gratitude from Dilante that he already foreseen and has saw the possibility of Sri Lanka to be involved fully, I would say, in the program, with establishing in near future also Erasmus Plus office, which is going to work closely with European institutions of promotion of Erasmus Plus and raising the awareness of Sri Lankan people for the possibilities of this Erasmus Plus program. As I have mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, there are a lot of countries in the world, not only the European countries, that are already involved in the program, and they have established already Erasmus Plus offices. What is the first step for involvement of the program in the program? We are going to discuss in details at the training, which is going to be conducted in Sri Lanka in 2 weeks from now. But you need just to register at the European portal, and you need to receive OID number. There's also mandatory attachments to your account, Erasmus Plus account, like legal entity, financial verification form, and legal document from your institution, not only from the university. After that, you are going to receive this OID number through email, and at each application that you are going to start to fulfilling, you just need to write your OID number, and every detail in your application will going to be fulfilled regarding the name of the institution, address, contact point, everything. Also, we are going to work closely with the tools which are mandatory regarding the digitalization, which is one of the main priorities of the Erasmus Plus program. So you need to be aware about beneficiary model. This is a model where you are going to fulfill your interim and final reports and your activities. There is also mobility tool, which was for the program Erasmus Plus for the period 2014-2020. Secunda Plus, which is tool for the national agencies, and project management model. But basically, you need to be aware about these two main topics: registration of your institution, receiving OID number, and managing the beneficiary model. These are two main points from the perspective of the applicants. Priorities. As we have mentioned at the beginning, you need to be aware about basic and specific priorities of the program, like inclusion, digital transformation, participation in democratic life, and sustainability, environment, and climate goals. Important characteristics also of the Erasmus Plus program are protection, health, safety of participants, multilingualism, international dimension, and recognition and validation of skills and qualifications. Now we are going in details for cooperation partnerships. As you have noticed, there's international credit mobility, where you can cooperate with European universities and sending and receiving of students and staff. The second one is cooperation partnerships. Here, I will give just one example from vocational, educational, and training, for reason that this session is not only for higher education. For cooperation partnerships, there can be creation of projects for vocational, educational training, for example, for energy efficiency and green agenda in line with European values. So basically, you can create together some platform, or you can create some brochures that are going to be very much important for energy efficiency now in Sri Lanka. As you have mentioned, Dilante, at the beginning of the session, you are facing with a lack of energy in Sri Lanka. It can be create some study or some brochures, platforms, which are going to be incorporated. After that is some kind of curriculums, maybe at secondary schools, at universities. So these are some kind of ideas in which way you can create your project regarding cooperation partnerships in vocational, educational, and training. There are also a lot of details for creation of this project, but the aim is this, just through the example. So which activities are typically carried out by partnerships for cooperation? So there is a project management. There are project management costs. What kind of costs are these? These are costs for all partners, 4 institutions from 4 different countries. They have 20% of the total budget only for working in the project, not creation of the curricula, creation of the platforms, and creation of other brochures and stuff and other stuff. Only for working and creation of the activities. There is up to 20% of the total budget. So if there is a budget of 400,000 euros for a cooperation partnerships project in vocational, educational, and training, then 20% is going to be 80,000 euros for partners, just for measuring and creation smoothly of the project activities in the period of 24 or 36 months, depending on the timetable of the activities. We have also budget for implementation of the activities and sharing and promotion activities. At the end, you are going to create multiplier event, and you need to predict costs for this kind of multiplier event. You are going to receive 100 participants. They are going to attend 100 participants from the Ministry for Energy, Ministry for Education and Science, etc. Participants from universities, from primary and secondary schools. This is just for promotion of your intellectual outputs, like brochures, platforms, curricula, etc. There are different kind of activities that you can fulfill in your working package. This program, I would say, is simplified. Now, maybe while I'm speaking, there are a lot of informations in one, but believe me, the program is very much simplified, and you just need to fulfill working packages and activities in each working package, what you would like to set and what you would like to do for your project. These are also priorities. We have already mentioned them. Sector-specific priorities, I will go further. This is in the field of youth, bearing in mind that youth organizations and institutions, public or private bodies that are working in the field of youth, they're also eligible. And there is a separate program for youth in this Erasmus Plus program. There's separate budget for youth. And the activities that are can be achieved is like promoting active citizenship, increase quality, innovation, and recognition of youth work. There's a lot of to be done. I'm quite sure, not only in Sri Lanka, but also in my country and other countries regarding the youth work and recognition of youth work through Europe, and also I'm quite sure through Sri Lanka. There is also strengthening the employability of young people, which is crucial, I would say, also for Sri Lanka. You can receive additional funds for volunteering and for employing of youth people in different kind of areas. These are additional funds for which are on monthly basis. Like I would say, like not like a contribution, like salaries, I would say. And also reinforcing links between policy, research, and practice. It's important in the field of youth. Cooperation partnerships, the specific aims are like building capacity of organizations, addressing common needs and priorities, enabling transformation and change, all in one, taking consideration specific and basic priorities of Erasmus Plus program. What are the eligibility criteria? So, when you're applying, you have an idea and would like to be you would like to participate in the Erasmus Plus program through your institution. Each time, the applications must be submitted by legal body. It means higher education institution, NGO, training centers, hospitals also. Everyone, not as a physical person. You cannot apply as an individual. So, priorities which are addressed, at least one horizontal priority you need to have fulfilled in the application and one specific priority. But the first step is, as I mentioned, creation of your account and finding your partners. After that, you can fulfill all the necessary, I would say, narrative part in your application and taking in consideration the budget. And after that, you can apply. And every time the applications are online through the platforms of the European Commission. What are the award criteria? You need to be aware when you're fulfilling your application about the award criteria. More or less in each application, regarding the evaluation process of your application, the first one is relevance. Why your project is relevant? So I would say your project is relevant for a reason that there is a lack of electricity in Sri Lanka, there is lack of youth force in Sri Lanka, there is a lack of people that are in the area of vocational training, etc. So this is the relevance. This is the project is more than relevant. Quality of the project design. Yes, you are going to fulfill each part of the application in a logical framework. That's the meaning of quality of the project design and implementation, and also quality of the partners. This is the third one. So you have three other partners, which are also, the other one is going to help with the IT part. For example, if you want to create some platform, the other partner is also experienced in the green energy, in the green transition, in electricity, etc. So this is the quality of the partnership, and what kind of impact you are going to achieve. Yes, it's going to be local impact, it's going to be regional impact, national impact, regional impact, and also maybe it can be international impact. This is up to you, what kind of impact you want to achieve with your project. What are the funding rules for cooperation partnerships? You have projects fixed 120,000 euros, 250,000 euros, and 400,000 euros. For the small skills partnerships, we have already explained there are small skills partnerships with fixed 30,000 euros and 60,000 euros. Capacity building. This is, for me, the most attractive, besides European University Initiative. the capacity building area, which is centralized in Brussels. And there are plenty of possibilities, not only in the field of youth, as you can see, but there's also building of capacities of higher education institutions, vet providers, adult education centers, and also for schools. If you want to apply for youth, you need to be aware of the eligibility criteria. This is concretely for higher education institutions. There's also Jean Monnet activities, modules, chairs, and you can create also centers of excellence. The third one is international credit mobility, incoming and outgoing of students and staff from Europe and from Sri Lanka, both ways. And partnerships for cooperation, small skills partnerships and cooperation partnerships. Budgets are between, for the small skills partnership, 30,000 euros, the lowest, and for the cooperation partnership, 400,000 euros per project, which is the highest budget, which can be granted. This is also concrete possibilities like calls for 2023. For the 2021 and for the previous year, 2022, all of these calls were not open. But for this year, all programs are open for applying. For international credit mobility, this budget is from heading 6, and there is open call. For joint master, there is also open call. For capacity building in higher education, vet, youth and sport, we have open call. For Jean Monnet activities, there's also open call. Erasmus virtual exchanges, partnerships in higher education and individual mobilities. It means that all actions and sub-actions and all the possibilities from the Erasmus Plus are open for applying for this year. For the joint masters, there's also for the foreign students and for Sri Lankan students and from Sri Lankan universities possibility to be partners and to create joint master studies. There's scholarships, 1,400 euros per month for the students. There's institutional support, 750 euros per month, and special needs if there is if there is a need of students and staff who have any kind of disabilities, then from the program this is covered by 100% or up to 60,000 euros, and maximum amount per project it can be 1.8 million euros. This is for joint masters. These are the details to a member state and associated third countries which can be involved. The next one is for design measures. There are two types of possibility. The first one is for official accreditation of master studies, and the second one, these design measures, is for just creation of your master studies, not necessary master studies. There is not no 100% necessary of accrediting of this master studies. For Jean Monnet activities, there are centers of excellence, modules, and chairs. I would say this is a simplified way of creation of activities intra your university, or creation of your center for excellence, for internationalization center for at the university, or for center for cooperation through in the dormitories or in the area of the universities. Jean Monnet activities, this is for focus on the European integration studies, and also there's teaching and research activities. So Erasmus Plus is also program where you can find research activities, and you can find research activities in the modules. So different kind of research through the modules and teaching activities with the chairs, and also in creation of centers of excellence. Taking in consideration that You can create also policy debate with the academic world worldwide through networks and through common projects. So these are two additional possibilities of the Jean Monnet activities. We are now in the international create mobility. This is the area of incoming and outgoing of mobilities. And I would say here, when we are going to conduct the training in Sri Lanka, we are going to share also possibilities for collaboration with European universities. And we are going to be support for you for creation of these bilateral and interinstitutional agreements with the European universities, where my point of view is that the starting point can be through this international create mobility, where you can be paid on a daily basis and also for the travel costs for creation of this kind of individual mobilities, incoming and outgoing of students and staff. And during these activities, also you can create, you can manage additional projects like capacity building, Jean Monnet activities, European Universities Initiative, etc., etc., etc. This is the capacity building for higher education. There are three types of activities where you can be involved. Three types of possibilities for involvement of Sri Lankan institutions in capacity building. The first one is fostering access for cooperation in higher education, which are the projects between 200 and 400,000 euros. Partnerships for innovation, which are projects with the budgets between 400,000 and 800,000 euros. And the last one is structural reform projects focused on macro level policy reforms to foster internationalization. And this is the main point, require involvement of ministries. In your case, this requires involvement of Ministry for Higher Education from Sri Lanka. Now, this is the main table, I would say, main slide of the presentation. Who can apply? As you can see, there is institutions from EU and member states, associated third countries. These are the 33 countries in Europe, which are full program countries in Erasmus+. And in this area is Sri Lanka. For the international create mobility, you can be partner, which means that part of the budget is this is the must, not if this is opinion of the applicant or if they are aware to reallocate the budgets. It's not about their will. There is fulfilled in the application that part of the budget is for example, in this case, for the Sri Lankan institution, NGO, etc., etc., etc. Erasmus Mundus Joint Master. You can be applicant. These budgets are up to more than 1 million euros, and taking into consideration that you can also receive budget for scholarships for foreign students. Capacity building in higher education, but also in capacity building in VET, in schools and in sport, in youth also. You can be applicant, which your region is eligible to be applicant in capacity building in different kind of areas of capacity building. Jean Monnet activities, bearing in mind that these are, I would say, maybe 30 or 40% of the activities where you can be involved as public or private body or NGO or hospital, or also ministries for higher education and other ministries from your country are eligible to be involved in this program. So taking into consideration that there are at least more than 20, 22, 23 possibilities for involvement of Sri Lankan institutions in this program, as applicants or as partners. Here are some of the deadlines for the applications. There is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, 26th of May, Jean Monnet activities, 2nd of June, International Create Mobility, it's 23rd now, February, and also for capacity building for higher education is 16th of February for higher education and 26th of February for vocational training. But taking in consideration that more or less there are several calls for applications during the year. We have already mentioned the tools. We will go in details with the tools which are created from the European Commission, for reason that each of these processes are online, and you need to be aware about functionality of these tools, which are mandatory for fulfilling fulfilling your obligations in these platforms, and also for sending in the interim reports, sending the final reports, and everything needs to be fulfilled in basically first in the beneficiary model. At the training, we are going to put an emphasis first of the capacity building of the Erasmus Mundus, of the Jean Monnet, Knowledge Alliance, Partnership for Cooperation, Small Skills Partnerships, International Credit Mobilities, and also other areas where Sri Lanka institutions can benefit from it. We will go in details. For the first 2 days, we are going to explain in details how this Erasmus Plus program is working and how you can benefit from it. And for the third day, we are going to conduct directly on-site also workshop where you are going to fulfill applications directly. We are going to have this in hard copy, but applications are fulfilled every time in online. But we are going to conduct workshop, and we are going to see what are going to be what kind of ideas you have fulfilled in the application forms, and you're going to receive feedback from our side regarding the ideas, but also regarding the technicalities. For reason that if you want to be part of this Erasmus Plus program, you need to be aware, first of all, about the technicalities, how the program is functioning. The first step for the training is going to be this one, and the second one, how you can benefit and how you can fulfill all of these applications, and in which manner, and how are you going to benefit not only for the financial phase, but also for the society in Sri Lanka. This is the main point of the training, how you can benefit as a society in the country. As I mentioned, a lot of countries in the world, we have traveled and we have visited study fairs and trainings all around the world, like in Peru, in Lima. We have been in India, in New Delhi. We have been also in Russia, in Ukraine before the war, in Azerbaijan, and in Turkmenistan, and they're already fully aware about this program and the possibilities that can be occurred from the program. So this is your chance, I would say, with the physical presence, to see from the first hand how you can benefit from the program. And also, I hope that in the near future, I'm going to establish this Erasmus Plus office, at least in this year, with our help and support of our national agency.